out to the AilMax crew. Anybody from AilMax? Where's La Familia from TGIF? Born to Shine people.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are my friends from Taichung? Yay. Tainan. Taipei. Taoyuan. Yay. Awesome, awesome. Welcome. Congratulations, everyone. We have passed the 100 mark. Big shout out to Eddie and the crew. Thank you, Eddie.
Okay. Anson, we have one more panelist. We only got 5 here.
Liz won't be joining us, so we're all here.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Before that, Doris, please send me as a call Zoom. Later. Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, who is the quorum? Who is asking me to be the quorum host?
Doris, me, Richard.
Richard, you are the host already.
No, send me the call Zoom because I just my Zoom just dropped out a few minutes ago.
It's done. Please check. It's done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Champions Night. We have we have 5 delegate contestants who will come to share with us how they join the online content. They share their experience. But before that, we will have our 2013 and 2019 champions. Ansonsat will lead our today's Champions Night workshop. So let's welcome our very big champion, Ansonsat.
Hey, thank you very much, Richard Lowe, the Zoom master for tonight. Thank you so much. Before we start, can I just make sure that everyone is muted because we want to hear our All right, so I was so excited that I muted myself. Okay, thank you so much, Richard Lowe, the Zoom master for tonight. And I am so excited because tonight is the Night of Champions 2021. Let's give a big round of applause to all the panelists tonight. What an exciting night this is. And thanks to Doris Gold, the district director, she came up with this idea that we can get the best of the best tonight together to share their experiences at the district level of the International Speech Contest. This is really a gold mine. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And thank you, audience, for tuning in. We have a special night to really find out the secrets, and you get to participate as well. There's a chat room where you can enter in any questions you want to ask to the panelists, because at 8:45, after the session is over, it is the Q&A session. So if you have any questions you want to pose, please put them in the chat room, and our Zoom master, Richard Lowe, will compile them for me, and we will ask the panelists the great questions. So without further ado, let us welcome our wonderful panelists tonight. From Taipei, Born to Shine Toastmasters, let's welcome Darren Fong. Also from Taipei, from Nehu Toastmasters, Angel Lee. Woo! From Taoyuan Chengli Club, Pacey Huang. And from Kaohsiung NKNU Toastmasters Club, Daniel Boy. From Taipei TGIF Toastmasters, Liz West. And wait a moment. Yes, that is the title of her champion winning speech. Let us welcome the champion of District 67, Tanya Ye from Beast Toastmasters Club in Taichung. Congratulations, everyone. It is such an honor to have you here tonight because you are the stars and you really shine for all of us. And I think the first question I'm going to ask to the champion. Congratulations, Tanya. What an incredible speech you delivered. I was there, and even though so many people were muted, I could feel like everyone's passion and just being so engaged in your speech. It was a wonderful speech. Tell us how you felt after winning the contest.
Actually, thank you, Anson. I feel more like calm because after expressing the story that I feel like I share what I put in my heart for a long time. Yeah, so I feel calm and also appreciated for the people who helped me on all this way. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I can imagine how much pressure got off your shoulders after finishing your speech. And congratulations to all of the contestants. Could I also ask Angel? Angel, how did you feel after completing your speech?
Hi, Anson. Thank you. I feel great relief, just like you said, after this contest, because this is my first time to enter into the final stage of a national contest. I practiced a lot and a lot, tried all my best, but finally, till the end, no matter what's the results, I feel a relief and I can move on to my next journey, next speech after that day. So great relief after that.
That's really amazing. The first time. Now I understand, Darren, this is your first time as well, right? How did you feel after you finished your speech?
I did my best and I released everything. Yes.
And I actually had the privilege of getting to see Daniel on the stage. I've heard him speak before, and he is a very powerful speaker, and he's the second runner-up. So Daniel, after polishing your speech so many times, how did you feel after finishing your speech?
I feel like so, relief. Did you not? My mentor, she was there. Like after I finished, she was like, she was holding her breath, and after I finished, she was just like, oh, finally. That's the feeling I got when I finished my speech.
Now, a lot of these stories involve family, and so Pacey, you talked about family in your speech. How did you feel before the speech? Did you feel that pressure of talking about your family? And then how did you feel after delivering your speech?
Actually, my speech is a little bit about my family member because it's just from my past experience. So after I talking about this story, I feel more like relief because the relationship between me and my mom, I think that getting better now because I did a great decision because of those decisions that I made from past. Thank you.
One thing that a lot of Toastmasters, the new Toastmasters don't know the power of the contest speech. It is really, to many, it's like a life-changing moment. Did you feel that, Pacey, after you completed your speech? You mentioned that your relationship improved with your mother.
Yeah, because somehow we do a speech because that is the part that we do not want to expose. And after we expose those stories, I feel a lot relief because that story is indeed happened in our life. And when we accept it, and then we share the story to everyone, and then that can be a strength to us and to help everyone just have the same conditions, same as like us.
what I really appreciate about everyone's speech, and I was there, is that everyone brought a lot of emotion to the table. Now, I'm going to ask each one of you about that in a moment, but let me ask you first, what is the greatest takeaway from this whole experience? What is one thing that you really got the most? And I would like to ask Tanya this question.
I think the biggest takeaway, as this is the first time I joined the professional competition, and I suddenly realized that I also got the power to inspire others through the story. And before, I just feel that I'm just a normal person that's living a normal life, which I'm passionate about. But then one day I realized when I got the feedback from the audience that my speech can inspire them and also make them think of their family more and think of how to show your love and time whenever you are accompanying with your family. Then I found that, wow, I also got a magic power to do this too.
Yeah, definitely. I could definitely feel the impact from your speech. Now, Daniel, did you get something really huge from this whole experience of being in the speech contest?
Well, great question, Anson. Let me tell you a story. Like 2 years ago, like in my very first Toastmaster meeting, I was like sitting in the back of the meeting room. I guess we all did. And I saw this lady slowly walking to the stage. But to me, like that lady, she just looked like a normal, like ordinary person. But when she started to speak, the whole room turns quiet. And when she continued with her speech, she can connect emotionally with everyone through her stories. And when she finished and walked off the stage, everyone could remember her message. And I for once asked her, "Hey, what is the secret to your success?" Well, she looked at me and said, "Hard work." Hard work? Really? Come on, tell me the truth. And then she said something that I would never forget. She told me, a great communicator is also a great storyteller. And if you can bring stories into your speeches, you would be even more successful. And that special lady, she then became my mentor, and she helped me polish the stories that I told in the contest. And I am happy to tell you that she is with us in the audience tonight. My friend, my teacher, and my mentor, Jin Chao. Hi, Jin. We made it.
Great.
So tonight, if there's one thing that you can take away to bring your speech maybe to the next level, it would be to tell more stories. Remember, a great communicator is also a great storyteller.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That is a really important point. Every single speech had a great story. So I think one misconception that people have about speaking and being in Toastmasters is that they have to be really technical or they have to have a whole vast wealth of knowledge. But no, we can really share our experiences and be really impactful. And one speech I was really impressed with is Darren's. Darren, your speech about being in the military, I can still remember like the roaring voice. Tell me, what was the biggest takeaway that you got from this experience?
It's easy. Just participate the contest. Because when you participate in the contest, your mentor, they are more nervous than you are because they want you to win the contest. And we have the Paul Shock, Lester, Eric Ma, and Douglas. They polish my speech every night before the contest. And I learned from the secrets from the champions. So like Daniel says, they are good storyteller, and I learned from a champion. They push me. I just need to deliver my personal experience, and I learned the most. So I encourage everyone participate in the contest. That is a takeaway from me back to the awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I encourage everyone to listen to Darren. I remember when I was the club president of ALMAX Toastmasters Club, and I said to the members, I said, hey, it is speech contest season. Raise your hand if you want to join the speech contest. Wow, so many hands did not go up that night. Okay, so thank you, Darren. It is definitely a life-changing experience. And Angel, can you share some of your experiences? What was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is that we should, before we deliver a fantastic speech, we need to lead a fantastic life first. So I encourage myself, I need to explore my life more, to accumulate more experiences so that we can share more new feelings to the audience in the future. So that is my biggest takeaway.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Toastmasters is not just a place to learn about speaking, but it's also to gain more experiences and to know other people's experiences in life. It is definitely incredible. But it also helps us take our speeches to another level. And wow, the district level speeches are really something else. Do you feel that just being a part of the speech contest elevated your public speaking skills? I'd like to ask Pacey. Pacey, could you share some of your experiences?
Yeah, I would say joining the speech contest is one of the biggest, the fastest way to grow your ability, because I used to only know about the theory about how to compose good speeches, but I would never know how to implement it into my real speech. So after joining the speech contest, I revised my content again and again, and I now know that's how to use the theory to internalize into a real speech. And I think that is the best way to learn, to join the speech contest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So Daniel, how did you improve in your speech writing? Because I'm sure everyone did not go up and just speak impromptu, right? You prepared your speeches. Daniel, can you just tell us how you prepared for your speech and how did you prepare differently because of the speech contest?
It is a collaborative process when it comes to speech writing. I could not write the whole great speech on my own. That's why I needed help. So one thing I did for the script writing is I went out in my club and also other club. I learned from the best and asked them for help, maybe to get them to look at my script, and maybe if they can see something that I can improve, so that I would improve on it and I would take it, learn from it and just improve on it. That's why I got the script.
Wonderful. Let me share. Liz West is currently out in America right now, so she's not able to join us, but I had the privilege of talking with her prior to tonight's meeting. And so let me just share some of her experience.
And to make my long answer shorter, the whole experience was surprising at how challenging different aspects of it were, but also surprising at how much I learned and grew in this relatively short span of time in comparison to just my own growth throughout the process of being in Toastmasters over the prior year and a half.
Okay, thank you, Liz, for that. Everyone pretty much got big results or just getting something amazing from this experience. And so let me ask you this speech contest was done online. Now, normally it's done in person. This is the second year that it's done online. Can you share with me how it is different from an in-person speech and what adjustments did you have to do to make your message come through the camera? I would like to ask Tanya about this.
I think the biggest change is that you have to have a nice equipment while having an online competition. For example, like a good mic and a good computer, a good camera, and a good timing, like a clock or something in front of you. yeah, and yeah, I think the equipment is the biggest thing that I prepared for a long time, and the message or the speech content, it's the same as like it's the same important thing no matter it's in virtual or it's online or offline. Yeah, so I think the equipment is really important, and also your Wi-Fi.
Yes, yes, definitely. I think Pacey's nodding. She's like, "Yep, gotta get good Wi-Fi, right?" But you came through loud and clear, so you were fine. Let me ask Darren and Angel and also Pacey as well. On top of the equipment that you had, you also introduced props. Could you just share with me why you chose the props and how you thought it might have enhanced your speech? Can I ask Darren first?
Okay, thank you. Awesome. Because I think I wanted to engage more with the audience. I remember our president, Kevin, he says he's a champion, Chinese champion. He said, speech in Chinese, 演讲. You have to act and speech. If you're not good at speaking, you have to use some advantage to improve your speech. That's idea come to my mind. And I spent a lot of effort to get my rifle, my helmet, my uniform. And I jumped my M1 rifle 100 times. But I think I need to do it. Even I fail over 100 times as well. But I want to impress everyone. So that's my idea. Thank you.
I encourage everyone in the audience, if you haven't seen these videos, go to YouTube and check them out. They are just absolutely amazing. Darren was flipping his gun while speaking at the same time. That's talent. That's real talent. So congratulations. And what about Angel? I remember your speech, but then you had that blanket. I'm like, whoa. And I still remember it's brown. Walk us through what you were thinking in terms of bringing that into your speech.
Okay. I think I want to say that virtual meeting, unlike contests, benefit me a lot, especially because my props is special. One is a very big pillow, another is a very big blanket. If it's a real contest, I need to bring these two props to the contest room. But in here, I can hide it somewhere. And when I want to bring it back, it can bring great impact to the audience. And the reason why I want to bring a pillow is because that is exactly the impact. When I opened the door, I saw my grandparents bring a pillow to my home. They didn't tell us they are going to live in our house, but they showed a big pillow. So that is a great tool that I want to bring the same impact to all the audience so that they can feel my feeling at that time. So that's the reason I chose this props.
Thank you. Was that the same for you, Pacey?
Yeah, actually, for me, to doing the online contest, I would think that it's more like to watch a movie. So when I was enjoying movie, I also I'm very looking forward for the special effect that the movie gonna bring to us. So I pop out to think about probably I can provide some props and make some special effect and make the audience feel special. And just like doing some magic tricks that I like to do now. So I think that to do the online speeches, sometimes you will feel a little bit tedious, but sometimes you can turn those disadvantage into advantage because that can make you look different from the physical meeting.
Now, some people have, there are two groups of speakers. There are one speakers like Darren saying that it is a performance and there should be a level of acting. And then there are speakers who think that speaking should be more like a TED Talk, where you're supposed to stand in a circle and just open your mouth. You know where I stand, but I would like to hear what you think in terms of how much acting should there be in a speech. Daniel, can I ask you this one?
Yes, in my own opinion, public speaking is about communicating, like acting. If you can act and you can deliver what you want to say, your point, that is good acting. But if you overacting, like, it's not necessary, what's the point? That is my opinion.
Okay. Angel, do you think that perhaps Toastmasters in general overact in a speech, or should it really be a part of speaking in general?
I have been joining Toastmasters for a long time. In my early stage, I did think so. I think it's too much, so I don't like that. I focus on my content, and I don't want to add so many body languages, vocal variety in order to attract the audience. But later on, I found that as long as the body language can assist the convey of my true emotions, because sometimes the life experience is really dramatic. That's a true story. I just need to make sure the audience understand. So I gradually find it's a very reasonable way to convey my emotions. So I gradually try to practice my body language and vocal variety, and I also love the feedback from the audience. So if the body language is aligned with your real story, I don't think it's overreacted.
Thank you for that. Now, I'm sure the audience is wondering how you're able to shake off your nervousness before taking the stage. As you know, speaking is one of the greatest fears for many. And so you guys look so natural on the stage. How do you guys do it? Tanya, how did you shake off your nervousness before taking the stage? Is there a process that you go through before you take the stage?
Before the competition, that you have to make every sentence of your contents like goes into your blood, that whenever people tap you and ask you, hey, what's going on, then like tell me what's the second paragraph of your content, and you can just easily share with it. You have to make that really goes into your life. So I practice while I woke up, when I'm brushing teeth, when I'm taking shower, when I walk the dog, and so on. So once when you get familiar with your speech, and even if you feel nervous on the stage and you forgot something, then you can easily find another way to express what you want to say. And if you really feel very nervous before getting on the stage, what I will do is relax my body. So I will jump up and down, or I will put myself upside down. And because I feel that if your body relaxes, then your heart and your mind will easily relax too. So this is how I usually do.
Okay, that is a very, very good routine. Now, I'm curious to ask all the panelists, how many times did you practice your speech? How many times did you practice your speech? Because some Toastmasters, they'll practice their speeches like 2 or 3 times before their meeting, and some are really hardcore. So let me ask Daniel. Daniel, how many times did you practice your speech?
I couldn't remember, because like back then when I was practicing, like for the maybe like 30 or 50 times something, and I told that to my mentor, and like she said, you only have done only 50 times, do 100 more. Come on, like it's like never enough when it comes to practicing speeches. So yeah.
Gene, what are you doing? No, practice is definitely important. So you gotten so high you just lost count. How about Angel? Walk us through your practicing routine, and how many times do you think you practice your speech before the contest?
Yeah, I also want to mention my style before. My style before is that I will practice many, many times before I go on to even a speech in a regular meeting, because I believe practice makes perfect. But in the later stage of my Toastmasters journey, I find the tempo is very important. So I find out that if I over practice every day before the contest, I will feel very nervous, extremely nervous, and to care about every details during the contest. So I find out that my tempo is that I only need to practice 2 times, but it should be every morning, first time in the morning, second time in the evening. And I record a meeting for the morning and evening, and listen to my recording for the whole day. And then so that in my next practice, I know how to adjust. I not just repeat the speech for too many times. I give myself some room to digest, to listen to myself, to be the audience of myself. So when I practice the next time in another day, I not only have enough energy to practice at that time, but also I have some more new ideas, because I have been my evaluators during the day. So I don't practice too much at this stage, but I will try my best. I will practice very regularly. If there are 2 weeks before the contest, I would practice 28 times. But if the time is very short, I won't increase too much the time of the practice. I think the tempo, the energy, and the time to digest is also important.
Wow, that's really, really detailed. So you actually evaluate yourself every time, you critique yourself, and you improve every time. That is really good advice. Now, Pacey, when you practice for your speech, do you record yourself? Because this is an online experience, right? So did you use a camera to practice?
Yes, I would say, of course, because due to the online meeting, all you have to do is to show up your performance from the screen. So recording is very important. And I not only recording for myself, I also send it to my mentor, and they will give me some feedback, and then I will know how to get improved.
Thank you so much for that. And that leads into my next question perfectly. How much do mentors and coaches play into your success on the stage? Tanya?
They really helps me a lot, but not only my mentor, but also every members in my club, Beast Toastmaster Club, that everyone give me a lot of advices after my practice, and also let me know how I can put more practice in my speech too, because they are all very well experiences. Yeah, so we're like a family in Beast Toastmaster. Yeah, and every time I will note it down in my notebook or record it in my phone, and then listen it when I go back home, because there are too many information in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the panelists that question in a moment, but let me just ask Angel and Darren. You're from Taipei and you're from TGIF and Born to Shine, and there's like a whole army of mentors and coaches up there. That's why I love them so much. Just share with me your experiences with working with mentors and coaches. Darren first.
My mentor, Paul Shaw, he gives me a lot of ideas. But the one thing he mentioned about, no matter how nervous you are, you go on the stage, you have to enjoy the speech. You have to take this one. I know in the end I will be nervous, but during the middle, I think about how enjoyable I can on the stage. So I practice 100 times. Every time I go to a bathroom, in front of the bathroom, I have a mirror. I would do one time, like 6 minutes, and go to the bathroom and come back. Every time I go, I just practice. I remember one time, we all Toastmasters, we have second rounds, and McDonald. It's very funny things because the second floor is going to close after 10 o'clock. And I just stopped my speech, the second floor going to close. And everyone left, but all Toastmasters of TGIF and Born to Shine, they listen to my speech and tell the staff from the McDonald, shh, just give 6 minutes, 6 minutes. And I just in front of people, over 220 people, I just do the structure, I act. And I do it, I enjoy. I know I'm nervous, but I fail many, many times. Why don't you enjoy your life in this moment, even if you fail? So the mentor helps me a lot. Enjoy your speech when you deliver your speech. That's my answer.
Thank you, Darren. Actually, it's very similar in LMAX. Everyone in LMAX is very passionate, from Jonathan Chen. Shout out to Jonathan and Amanda. All the folks at LMAX really helped me in my journey. And it's the same feeling. Angel, in TGIF, did you experience the same thing as well? Actually, were you practicing with Darren?
I'm from Neihu.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but I also work with my mentor.
When I say TGIF Toastmasters, I mean Neihu Toastmasters Club.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I should learn from you to find a mentor. For this time, I didn't find only single mentor to look at my speech, but I look for a group of mentors to help me. And I think the best candidate for the mentor is the one who knows my style and my shortage, my advantage very much. I think they are the one who can give me the real feedbacks that can benefit me. So I collect a group of people. I will send my recording of my speech to them. I will ask them to tell me the truth. How do you feel and what can be improved? One of them is one of the contestants in another speech contest. We compete in the final stage, and finally I did not win. But during this process, we know the style of each other very much. So this time, I will send my recording to them and ask her to give me the feedbacks. She gave me a lot of bloody feedbacks that I know I can take it and think about that. That is something that I can improve next time. So I find a group of mentors this time.
Now, how do you keep focused? Because there's just so much feedback that you get. When you get to such a level of speaking, everyone wants to give you their best suggestions. How do you filter that and focus on the things that are meaningful to you or things that really will help you? Let me pose this to Pacey. Pacey, how do you filter through all the feedback that you get?
Yeah, actually, getting the feedback from other people, maybe sometimes it may help you, but somehow when lots of feedback to you, you may feel confused because somehow the feedback, they was something that it's not related to your true story. So I think that to filter all this feedback is also important, because if you try just receiving too much feedback, you will adjust it, just not like your own style. So I would think that you have to find out your core value first, and then you have to find out if that feedback it can fit in your own style, and you can apply it. Or otherwise, if you just receive too much feedback, you will lose your own style.
Yeah, I know that if you get too much feedback, you kind of lose focus. You might get distracted. Let's hear from Liz West what she had to say about being focused.
I guess that's my way of saying remove as many distractions as possible. And then honestly, just right before my speech was just taking lots of deep breaths and trying to enjoy just being in this process of competing alongside other phenomenal speakers. And because what we talked about before, because I had practiced it so many times, I had it memorized, I wasn't feeling anxious, like, oh, am I going to forget a line? Well, I had a little bit of that, but for the most part, I knew my speech. Just before it was my turn, just standing up, closing my eyes, taking lots of deep breaths, and just getting ready to do what I had done hundreds of times before in practicing the speech and just actually deliver it. I really just tried to have fun. Like at the end of the day, I want to enjoy this process. I know that I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot. So let me just have fun with this.
So she really emphasized on what Darren said earlier, just have fun and just enjoy the process. Now, this Night of Champions is the lead up to the virtual convention that's going to happen on August 23rd to 28th. It's a really exciting time because the world semifinalists are going to battle it out to win the world title. And if they were to have a Night of Champions, and they've done it before, if they had a panelist of world champions, what is a question you would like to ask them? I would like to ask Daniel, what's one question you'd like to ask a world champion?
This is a tough question.
Okay, we'll get back to you. Who would like to answer? Tanya.
Thank you. As I just realized that because of this experience of having the competition, I started to realize that everyone got a chance to inspire others through their life stories. So if I have a chance to ask them a questions, I will ask that if you believe that a speech can change a world, then what story will it be of your life experience?
Wow, that's excellent. Thank you, Tanya. Darren? What question would you ask world champion?
I would like to ask the champion, how did you prepare your speech on daily process? Because the daily process built up with the foundation. And I know you are special. I think you are something you do every day different with the people. And I want to know what's your daily process do and what can you recommend I can do as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. And do you have an idol? A public speaking idol? Angel, do you have a public speaking idol? Is there someone you're a big fan of someone?
Yeah, she's one of the contestants in one of the national speech contests a few years ago. As I mentioned, we compete in the same contest and we admire each other. We learn a lot from each other, but we have different styles. But at that time, I didn't win, but she became my idol. She's the Gina Liu from the Taipei DCS Mandarin Club. She's able to adjust her script effectively in order to convey the tiny emotions to the audience successfully. This is what I want to learn. And I finally find out that, wow, she is my idol. I want to listen to as many speeches as possible delivered by her so that one day I can be that kind of speaker to deliver any tiny emotions to different audience.
That leads into a good question that I want to ask you guys. How did you memorize your speech? Did you memorize your speech word for word? Let me ask Daniel. Daniel's shaking his head, so you already tell us about it.
I learned it the hard way. If I try to remember like every single word in my speech, I would forget like every single word in my speech. So what I would do is like I internalize it. I put like papers like of my script on the floor so that this part I have to walk here, this part I have to walk to the right, and this part I have to go back to the left. So like I just stay in part of the stage. That's when this part I do this part I do that. So that is how I can internalize my speech.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Anybody else just do it kind of impromptu, or did you do it just pure memorizing of the words? Darren's like, no. Okay, Darren?
Yes. I use the gestures and acting to memorize the series of the speech. For example, I think I will be, I'm the teacher. I have the gestures like I'm the teacher, and I pause, and I have a time to say the next sentence. But that's a part of speech, and I do the flipping my rifle. I know I'm going to see the words I'm going to say. So I think that's very important because I saw from the member of TGIF, Gina, she is a new Toastmaster, but I learned from her because her speech is great. People call it volcano girl, because her speech is very, very dramatic. And I just asked her, how did you, I learned from the newcomers. I said, how did you learn? He said, because I use a gesture to connect the dots so I can deliver my speech, and I memorize the lyrics and the lines. And I think I'm going to do that, and that it works. So that's why I memorize my speech with the gesture and the action. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Tanya, I would like to ask you, in your speech, you talked about a topic that was very deep and very, very serious. And I just like to ask you in particular, how were you able to manage your emotions while delivering your speech? And is there something that you can recommend to people if they're talking about a very sensitive topic or something that is very emotionally charged? What did you do to keep yourself calm while on the stage?
The most important thing is that you have to immerse in your role and your story, because in my story that I have to play many different roles, like my father, my brother Xin, and a mature Tanya that is like 7 years ago, and also the future me, which is me right now. So to manage this kind of speech, I think an important thing to do is you have to manage your life well also, not only on the stage, but also your life under the stage. For example, you have to sleep early, and then I know it sounds weird, but it's true that you really have to sleep early, and you have to manage your life well. You also have to eat healthy. You have to treat yourself like an athlete. Yeah, you have to prepare yourself and your mood every moment in the right situation. So then when you're standing on the stage, that you know that everything is right. Yeah, because I think one of my competition, I didn't prepare it very well. I didn't get into my role, and I feel very confused after the competition. And then I recall the memory of what I did this whole week. I sleep very late, and then I have a lot of work in the company and didn't manage myself well. So it's hard for me to get into the situation while I'm standing on the stage. So you have to take care of your life first. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit weird, but that this is really important for me to be well prepared before standing on the stage.
Thank you very much. Now, we have come to the end of this session, and I just want to congratulate you, Tanya, for winning it all. And thank you, everyone else. Congratulations as well. You are the best of District 67, and it was truly an honor and pleasure to be here with you tonight and to really get your thoughts on the speech contest. You've shown us in the last 45 minutes that the speech contest is a life-changing moment. When you step onto the stage, you really shine and you inspire people with your stories. So I encourage everyone that's listening and watching this podcast or this broadcast to think about the next speech contest and join the virtual convention that's happening on August 23rd. Register at toastmasters.org. It's only $25 for 4 days of education sessions, leadership sessions, and you get to see the crowning of the new world champion of public speaking this year. It's going to be totally awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's all unmute and give a big round of applause to all the panelists tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you. Woo! Yes, thank you for all your insights. We definitely learned a lot. And now it is time for the Q&A session. So Richard Lowe, our Zoom master, I can't wait to see the list of questions that we have, the bonus questions for our panelists tonight. What do we got? I hear typing. Yeah, I will scroll through and just see if there's any questions. Is humor an important element in the international speech contests? So if you panelists, if you like to if you want to answer, just raise your hand. Is humor an important part of a speech in the international stage? Tanya!
I do think it's super important. And to be honest, I also feel that this is what I'm lack of too. And I'm also learning on this process because I go through a lot of champions speeches online, and I also count how many points that they make the audience laugh. And every time when they make the audience laugh, and also me, I feel more like I can focus more on their speeches from the beginning to the end. So I think humorous is really important. No matter it's a happy story or a sad story, you have to make your story emotion, which goes with the audience, go up and down, but not only this or always this. Yeah, so I think humorous is a really important thing, and it's need time to practice.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Tanya. I agree with that. Second question from Iris. How do you choose a winning speech title? A winning speech title. Darren.
It's a privilege to answer teacher previous president, Iris. how to choose. I choose because I fail many speeches, and I pick one of the speech. The audience give me the biggest reaction, biggest pause, and ask me the most questions. That speech is the speech I'm going to participate, the contest speech. For example, I talk about a lot of works about the sales interior designer's job and English teacher job. So many, but no one asked the questions. When I put the slide about my military service, and people say, "Whoa, wow, that's cool. That the MR rifle is real. And how did you practice?" Oh no, I know that speech is going to my contest speech. So that's why I picked my contest speech.
Great. Our next question is from Chantel, and she asks, what is the main difference between a speech in English or a speech in Chinese? What are the commonalities and what are some differences? And what are some errors that Chinese natives usually make? Okay, Angel, thank you.
Yeah, because I joined the contest for both English and Chinese contests before, so I can share something. The main differences is the way we deliver our script. We may draft our first script and try to practice, but the feelings of choosing the words, choosing the sentences, and making the dialogues are kind of different. It's hard to describe, but I would recommend everyone to just read it out several times. For English, you will know that this sentence is too Chinese. You need to change it be more English. So you can try to adjust the word after you're practicing in front of the audience. They may tell you that this word is kind of too much like Chinese. You can change the words. But for Chinese, there's another scenario. You cannot choose the ones that is too simple. Otherwise, everyone will know that, oh, this is a very direct narrative. So maybe in Chinese speech, you will choose another wordings to express the same thing. So that is my feeling. We need to adjust little by the practices. Yeah.
Yes. I always tell Jennifer, my wife, to add oil because she's cooking. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Very important question is, how do you prepare for a speech, and how do you deliver it naturally, as if it were kind of an impromptu speech? How do you deliver a speech naturally? I think that's the question.
I can share something first and others can add. I think the key is also record it and listen to it. You will know if this is natural or not. Yeah, it's very true when you listen to your own recording. If this just like reading the script, it's not talking to the people, you will know that. So most of the time in the beginning, you're just like reading something, you just try to make some effects. But after practice, you can just imagine you are talking to your friends, talking to the ones in your dialogues. You will be more natural after the practices.
Now, I think, Daniel, this question is for you, although it's not really directed to you, but I think you're very qualified to answer this speech, because the question is, how do you turn a boring life story into a winning speech?
Oh, okay. The thing is, like, your story is not boring because you live it every day. But what if like you tell your story, like just a simple story? My story is like I play soccer on the field and like I got, beat down to the ground, and I told a story, but still many people liked it. Just because you lived it every day doesn't mean that it's not interesting. You just have to find your story. Maybe it's in your daily life. Just tell your story and let other people decide if it's interesting or boring.
Thank you so much for that, Daniel. Pacey, how do speakers at your level come up with big ideas? And is there a process to do like some deep soul searching?
Oh, actually, everyone finding the topic is the most difficult thing, because when you are trying to find some topic specifically, then you will have no idea how to do it. So I would just leave the time. If I just come up with some detail that in my life, I would just write it down on my notebook, and then I will come up with this detail with another story. And I think that the ideas were somehow pop out in your mind within some magical time. So I think that just don't push you too much to think about all this content, because some magical idea will just pop out when some magical time comes. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Pacey. Now, tonight I tried to crack a couple of jokes to get the atmosphere, just lighten the atmosphere. But you don't get that in the online speech contest. You don't get that kind of feedback. So how do you control the atmosphere, and how do you deal with delivering your speech and knowing that you're not going to get the feedback as you would in an in-person contest or an in-person speech? I would like to pose this question to Tanya.
Because while having an online competition, you cannot directly see the emotion on the audience faces. So it's necessary to practice more in front of people, or even you can also open an online meeting with your friends or your mentor, and then let them see online and then tell you the feedback after. Yeah, and practice in front of people is also important. And it's very important to record it while you're practice in front of the people. And then you can note it down which point that the audience is laughing and which point that they are all quiet. So I usually will have two cameras while I'm practicing in front of the people before the online competition. One is in front of me to see how I speak or how I act. And another one is to take the camera in front of the audience. So then you can easily see that in what kind of points they are all silence and they are all seeing you, and in what kind of point they just burst out laughter. Yeah, so you can note it down and then go back home and see where it can change. So when you're having an online competition, you can, even the audience is not sitting in front of you, but you know that maybe they're laughing at their home at this moment.
Okay, this next question is from David, and I would like to ask everyone, so make your answer as short as possible. If you were to advance to the next round, what is one thing you would change about your speech? If you were to advance to the next round, what is something that you might change about your speech? This is the deep soul searching time right now. Angel, you got something for me?
Honestly speaking, I will not change anything. I try to believe myself that this is the best version for this time. I will try my best to convey that point to others.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Darren, anything for you?
I think I want to do the same thing. I just tell myself before I practice for the final, I tell myself I'm going to enjoy the speech.
Daniel?
Yes, I believe like there's always something to be improved. So maybe like I could, tell my speech in front of more people, maybe my brother, so that if he said like something, hey, I don't get this part, so maybe that's the part I would change. So like get my speech in front of more people, because I believe there's something more to be improved.
Okay, thank you for that. Tanya?
I think I will add something like make people laugh more, because I feel that everyone goes so sad in my story. Yeah, and I know that that's what I'm lack of. So I will see more champion speeches and see that which part that I can improve more.
Great. Thank you so much. Pacey?
Yeah, the first thing I would have to change is I will check the Wi-Fi first. And the second thing I would do is that, because you do to another level, so you have to be more aware of the audience, because the audience might be worldwide. So I would add something that can have the connection with the foreigner. yeah, I think that will work for the next table. Thank you.
Great. Wow, what an incredible night it was. Are there any other questions? We still have 1 minute. We got room for one more table topic for the panelists, or even for myself, if anyone has any questions for me.
How about you?
Okay.
Anson? What would change, Anson?
Okay, we do have one. Does the speech title matter? Okay, we kind of talked about how to develop a speech, how to write a speech title, but does it actually matter? Tanya?
Yeah, I do think it matters a lot that your speech title cannot tell too clear, but you have to make people feel curious. And you also have to be connecting with your content and your core value and make people feel curious and then going through your story and then suddenly, aha, that's what you're talking about. And then even years after, they may forgot the details or the content of your stories, but because of your speech title, they will remind the core value that you want to deliver to your audience.
Okay, thank you, Tanya. And there is actually a question for me. The question is, would you compete online or would you compete next year? Yes, I will. Yes. Always say yes to a speech opportunity, no matter if it's a speech contest or if it's your next pathway project. Always say yes to your VPE. Not only will it help you with your speeches, but it will make your VPE's life much easier. So, congratulations to all the panelists, and thank you, audience, for tuning in tonight. It was a great success for the Night of Champions 2021. It's an honor and pleasure to be with you all. Again, let's give the panelists a big round of applause. Congratulations.